the Second Amendment right to take its sleeves off and show the bare arms all the time. But I'm saying, if we are so lucky to go undefeated this year, and we end up winning in a bowl game, if we get in, I'm going to use my First Amendment to declare the JMU Dukes national champions, like UCF. Yeah. I'm just going to say it, and come and stop me. Come and stop me, NCAA.
What a wild scene it was down at JMU. College Game Day was there. We got one more week, guys, until the regular season is over, and teams trying to make their final impression on the College Football Playoff Committee. Welcome to the College Football Show presented by AT&T. Alongside Matt Sims, Skubie Mageza, I'm Sam Ravech. We have got a great show for you the next hour. We will talk, of course, the ongoing sign-stealing scandal at Michigan. Is it over? Is it not? Michigan may have some other things to worry about, talking about their game today. Plus, we will preview the game of the night, top 10 showdown out there in Corvallis with Washington and Oregon State. But before we get to all of that, guys, and of course we want to hear from you in the YouTube chat. Let us know what you think, how the games have gone, and we'll get to the top four a little bit later on in the show. But we've got some conference championship games starting to line up, some tickets getting punched, Scoob, today.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. And we're keeping our eyes on the ACC because Louisville, they had a big game against Miami. And as we've talked about before, this Miami team is good. So why don't we show you how good they were today? First quarter, Miami down 7, and this freshman, Mark Fletcher Jr., was playing like a senior. All 6'2" and 225 pounds of him gets in there for 6. Jack Plummer looks to respond, but he hits the wrong player.
Oh, no.
We're in the wrong jersey. Pass intercepted by Carmen Kinchins. Miami feeling real good right about now. 4 plays later, Tyler Van Dyke throws it to Xavier Restrepo, who had himself a career day, 193 yards receiving. My Lord, Hurricanes lead.
This game was tight, though. All game it was
all
tight.
the way through. And Isaac Garendo here says, I want the end zone. 12-yard run ties it at 14. Back and forth they go. Third quarter, Mark Fletcher. He had pre-workout mixed with creatine before the game because my boy was jacked up. 50-yard run sets them up in scoring position. So moments later, who do you give the ball to, guys?
Mr. Fletcher.
Yeah, the guy who got you over there. You're dang right. 126 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns for Fletcher. Fourth quarter, same score. Ivan Conley says, you can't stop me. Runs for a 5-yard TD. Louisville takes a lead back. It's a 3-point game. Late in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, both teams tied at 31. Jack Plummer finds Kevin Coleman. And this was a great play designed by Louisville because the other players ran into each other. But here we go. Hail Mary. Last second.
Oh, he caught it. He caught it.
Restrepo here. Why can I say it? Restrepo catches it, but can't get in the end zone.
Wild.
Louisville wins it 38-31. Huge win for them. Jack Plummer played one of the best games of the season. Their defense, not necessarily the same, Matt, because they let Miami run all over them, and we haven't seen that happen all year for them.
That was the strength of their team, right? Especially on the defensive side of the football, was stopping the run. They were 9th nationally in the run game, and I think 12th nationally in just total defense. So this team letting up the points that they did, the way that they did, is something that Jeff Brom, Ron English, they are going to have, dare I say, a lot of fun in the film room and on the practice field with these dudes getting them right. And this is great. It's a great reminder of like, hey, you're having a great year and we're exceeding all expectations.
Right.
But we need to remember too, we got to finish the job at hand. You can't have another game like we had against Pitt. You have to execute in these crucial moments. Now, Miami's a team that we have agreed upon has definitely come up short to expectations. We know that they're a talented football team. We know that they were only a few plays away from having an even better record than what we've seen. Plummer played good today.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he missed probably 4 or 5 throws where he could have made this game even more one-sided to Louisville's favor.
Yeah.
And that's a problem that they need to clean up a little bit more. Jeff Brom is a mind. If I'm a young QB, well, I actually did this coming out of high school. I committed to Louisville to go play for Jeff Brom.
Yeah.
And I would do it again now because what he's doing offensively and schematically, it is impressive. And Louisville's the type of school, they can get athletes there. They're in a prime place there where they can get dudes from all over the East Coast, Florida, and everywhere. So it's going to be a really interesting spot for Jeff Brom and them, and hopefully they can finish the season.
Yeah, they got a good NIL program as well. And to your point about Jack Plummer, what Miami did today was blitz him more than he has seen the entire season. But Plummer actually had a career day when it came down to the blitz.
Right.
He was he was able to have 195 yards passing, and 3 of his touchdowns passing were against the blitz. So he torched them when it came down to that. And then, guys, nobody picked Louisville out of all of the voters to win, to make it this far. And here is this team with a first-year head coach, and you're going to the ACC title game. You can't tip your hat enough for what Louisville was able to accomplish this season. 176 ACC preseason voters. Nobody believed. This team believed in themselves, and now they have a chance to make history. And this win, as a matter of fact, helps Florida State because you want to go into that ACC title game against a Louisville team that is highly ranked.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
You always want to play against the best, right? Especially when you're trying to make your final kind of impression on the selection committee. And there's people out there saying, well, Florida State, even if they go undefeated, may not be enough to get them into the top 4. But we will certainly be discussing that as the show goes on. Let's go ahead and talk a little Big 12 here because Oklahoma, there's a 4-way tie at the top of this conference. 10 a.m. kickoff at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah, guys. Sooners coming to town. This was a gritty one. First quarter, Dylan Gabriel to one of his favorite targets, and Nick Anderson for the 3-yard touchdown. The Sooners take a 7-0 lead. Still in the first, same score. Jake Retlaff finding Chase Roberts for the touchdown. This one was also back and forth, and the Cougars play well at home. We pick it up in the second quarter here, and Gabriel finding Jaden Gibson.
Gabriel was on fire in the first half of this game, man. Just absolutely surgical.
And Oklahoma regains the lead 14-7. Later on, though, in the second, BYU down by 7. Retzlaff throwing it to Isaac Rex. 1 yard out for the score. We're all tied 14-14. Third quarter, game tied at 17. Retzlaff's pass intercepted. Billy Bowman Jr. Taking it all the way back, Scoop.
This pretty much changed the game.
Definitely.
Because at BYU, you're driving, and this is like a 14-point swing because you were about to get 7, and it goes the other way.
Sooner, they needed it too because they would not have Dylan Gabriel in the second half as well. Later in the third, BYU trailing by 7. Retzlaff takes it himself in for the score. Ball game tied 24-all. Fourth quarter we go. It's Gavin Schwachuk running it in 16 yards for the score, and that would solidify it for the Sooners to go on to win 31-24. It was a gritty win on the road, and the Sooners needed it. Dylan Gabriel, again, did not play in the second half, but Oklahoma has kind of earned a second chance at playing for a Big 12 title despite the back-to-back losses to Kansas and Oklahoma State. They got help from them last week because both of them lost. So there is still a lot to be shaken out, but we know that Texas will likely be in the Big 12 title game. Oklahoma, all they had to do was win, and you're in. But I want to talk big picture here, Oklahoma, because you go from 6-7 last year, which was obviously not acceptable to these fans, and you turn it around this year and what they've been able to do. Obviously, there's disappointing losses in there, but the improvement has been pretty tremendous under Brent Venables, Matty.
It's amazing. It really is. I mean, other than Jeff Brom, what Brent Venables has done this year, it's been astronomical as far as the difference in this football team. The approach of this football team, the mentality of it. This is not one of the more talented football teams in the country. This is a team that is really doing a great job of executing, doing the little things the right way, playing great team football, great complementary football. I know everybody hates that cliche, but it's true. And this is what they're really focusing on because the talent isn't there like some of the other teams that we focused on this year and some of the ones that are playing for a college football playoff. And good for Texas. Good for Texas that Oklahoma won because you need Oklahoma to continue to win, to play against them in the Big 12 championship. One, because it's a rivalry game, so the committee will value that as something that is, important to them. We've heard Heather say that. But also, two, they're going to have the best overall record potentially, the best win as far as an opponent in beating Texas. So it's really important for Oklahoma to continue to win and stay relevant for both their own sake and for Texas' sake in making the college football playoff.
Yeah, Matt, that was a great point. The Big 12 championship we still really don't know who's going to be in there.
No, we don't know yet. You're right.
In terms of Oklahoma State, right now they're only up 6 points to Houston with 7:30 left in the fourth quarter. So that they can lose this game today, but you think about Dylan Gabriel going down with the head injury today.
Yep.
Is he going to be able to play next week?
Yeah, it's a short week. They got TCU coming next week.
Definitely. So that's a little bit of a concern for that fan base if I want my team to make it into the Big 12 championship game. And then their defense, they're just going to have to lean on that defense a little bit more. 3 turnovers today, which resulted in 21 points for the team. But Jackson Arnold is a quarterback that can play the game very well. You see it on the screen right now. He did what he had to do in the second half. I think with the week of preparation, if Dylan Gabriel isn't going to play, he'll get some reps with the ones, and that'll get him more comfortable going into the game. But I would say Jackson Arnold, try not to take too many hits because, you know what I mean? Come on, bro. We don't want to go down to the third-string quarterback.
Protect thyself for the next play.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're only as good as the next play you're available for.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes. The best ability is your availability, right?
That's right.
What they always
That's
say.
what we all say.
Well
Yes.
said.
So, he may get his first start of his career next week as well. There was a party down at JMU earlier today, Skubie.
I mean, 26,000 people came out for college game
that
day.
scene.
It was a movie. What a sight for college game day as they tried to remain undefeated against App State. So let's just go to the fourth. It's 17-5. Jordan McDonald scrambles like some eggs, and he breaks fast for the touchdown. Y'all get that bar?
I got it.
We got it.
Yeah. JMU
Delicious.
faithful loves it. It's 17-12. Just over a minute left to play. JMU in striking distance. McLeod fires left, and he gets Elijah Surratt.
Good catch.
He gets in there for 6. We got a 2-point game, y'all. They go for a 2-point conversion. If it worked once, why not do it again?
Oh.
Surratt! Ooh, I
The
see you
toe
doing
tap.
that. A little toe tap there. JMU would kick a field goal. 23-20.
Tackle.
Now here we go. This is for the win.
They went 0 for 3 on that.
Could not stop him. App State gets the upset. Their head coach didn't want to call it an upset, but quite frankly, their team is undefeated.
Right.
So this is an upset.
Yes.
And sheesh, come on, James Madison, you let us down. We just wanted y'all to keep on winning. They're losing overtime, 26-23. We wanted to make sure we got this into the show for y'all.
Right.
Sam, disappointing?
Well, does the NCAA now say, well, if you did win, maybe we would have considered it, but not now. Now that the loss is there.
Never mind.
Yeah, never
Well, James Madison, welcome to Division I football, and there's App State for you. They're doing a fantastic job in their history of upsetting teams like this in big moments. They really have.
There's a North Carolina game last year.
You got great dreams? They crush them.
Yeah.
Dream crushers.
Exactly. So we're also talking group of 5 here. This is perfect because Tulane was another group of 5 team, at least coming into the week, the top group of 5 team. If there was a 12-team playoff, this would be the team that would be in it. Michael Pratt, number 24, the Green Wave, taking on Florida Atlantic first quarter. Pratt rolling off to the right play action. Chris Carter with the catch, and Tulane would lead 7-0. Remember, Tulane kept it close with Ole Miss earlier this year as well. This is a good football team. They do the most with the least, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Early second quarter, Pratt throwing for 252 in this game. Third quarter, there's Mr. Carter again, in for the score, and Tulane would go on to win it 24-8. They improved to 10-1. This has been really impressive. They won 9 straight since that loss to Ole Miss back in September. Since the start of last season, guys, you know Tulane's 22-3, and the only teams with more wins than that in that time span is Georgia and Michigan. That's it.
That's amazing,
right?
That's a great stat.
That's how good Tulane has been.
Yeah.
And what Willie Fritz has done is simply incredible as well. This was also kind of incredible what Michigan did against Maryland today.
Highlight?
It's a year of firsts for Michigan, and why not add another one? They pick up their program's 1,000th win, and they become the first FBS team to get to 1,000 wins. Even though they got the win, guys, it was probably a little bit closer than a lot of people thought it would be. Too close for comfort for Michigan fans. Maryland's offense outscored Michigan's offense. This game was won by Michigan's defense, right?
Thank you for saying that. That is a concern. Yeah, exactly. Overall, the game is played in 3 phases, and when you look at the offensive side of the ball, they weren't playing their phases efficiently as they should have for Michigan. I'm a little bit concerned here, Matt. Michigan's passing game and J.J. McCarthy's confidence, because at one point everyone was talking about him as a Heisman contender, and then after throwing no passes in the second half last week, we come into this game, he throws a red zone interception. Maryland just starts to pack the box and dares Michigan to throw the ball. Yeah. And all of a sudden, we got a ball game all the way through. This was close, and I'm worried. I don't know if worried's the right word, but I'm looking at this Michigan offense with questions heading into Ohio State.
We were discussing this earlier when we were in the room watching all of those games earlier today in that think tank, right, where we watch the games. But really, we're just fans just like you watching, yelling at the TV like always.
Yep.
And what do we say? With J.J. McCarthy, he's a great football player. He's well proven. He's played in a lot of big football games, right? As many as any quarterback in the country this year going into potentially the college football playoff. The one issue, though, is this lack of repetition late in the year, and that's concerning to me. The fact that he hasn't just dropped back and thrown it consistently in the past few weeks is a big concern to me, because we discussed this. A great basketball player, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, we want you to go there and win the game. Well, if it's your first shots in the fourth quarter, I mean, do we really expect the guy to win the game for us? You know, in the same instance, too, for our quarterback, when they need him to drop back and make great decision after great decision and play consistent football, how in rhythm is this offense going to be with the way that they call the plays, but then also to the execution of it, too, and allowing their receivers to build off of that momentum? Some of these receivers haven't seen the football in 2 games. You know, and that's a concern, because if it's 3rd or 4th down against Ohio State, you know, and they drop it, I'm going to say, yeah, that's on you, because you haven't done enough real repetitions in live games.
Shout out to the YouTube group chat. I'm letting y'all know we're in there. I'm looking at it throughout the whole show, and I can leave this to either one of you to answer. Austin said, I don't want to hear nothing about Michigan. Maryland's a pretty good team, good offense. And FSU, by the way, they're down 14-0.
Yeah, that's a problem.
To a really bad team. But he said Maryland's a good team. And Maryland was down 23-3, and they're able to come back. So I see Austin defending Michigan here.
Yeah, no, and I like that. Maryland has proven that they can move the football on anybody, that they can put up points, you know, on occasion. The problem for me is that, we know Michigan's got a talented offensive line and defensive line, right? We know that they have a good running game. But the offense, as far as a pass offense, you know, do you expect to push Georgia around in the trenches? You know, do you expect to push some of these other teams around in the trenches consistently the way that they have? And then say, you know, JJ, I know you haven't thrown in 3 quarters, but, you know, complete this big 3rd and 10 for us and win the football game. You know, that's my concern. You know, it sounds like a lot like the Jets and Mark Sanchez back in the day. You know, it's just too much.
Interesting comparison.
But
I like
it's true, though.
True.
They went to an AFC championship game twice.
It's true. But, I mean, we could certainly say that this was the best quarterback, at least, that Michigan has seen all season, right?
Totally.
Because it's Tailua Tagovailoa.
Wait, no, that's not true.
You don't think so?
No, Kyle McCord.
Which they will see.
Up to this point. Yeah. Up to this point, because
and he didn't play a good game either.
No,
the
he had some
intentional
mistakes.
grounding call that they had. I mean, Maryland had a number of opportunities in this game to win it.
Right. So it's been a roller coaster of a season off the field as well for Michigan. I'm sure everybody is interested and dialed into this reporting. But, so the sign-stealing allegation story continues to roll on. But earlier this week, the Big Ten and Michigan met, and Jim Harbaugh ended up accepting the 3-game suspension from the league. And in return, Big Ten and the commissioner, Tony Petitti, will end their investigation into any sort of sign-stealing allegations from Conor Stallions. This was, of course, part of an agreement to sort of resolve the school's lawsuit with the league, and the two sides were slated to meet in court yesterday. They ended up coming to this agreement. So that's the latest chapter in the saga, but worth remembering, this is kind of not the end of the investigation as well. The NCAA still has an open investigation, and make no mistake about it, they will continue to investigate. So I guess I'm kind of interested, like, if you were putting money on it, will Jim Harbaugh be on Michigan sidelines next year? Will he be on another college team sidelines, or will he be on the NFL sidelines? If you had those 3 options there.
I really don't like any of my 3 options, but if I had to pick one, I guess I'm going to go with the NFL. But he might have to just take a year off, though, too, and just let everything cool off.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know if there's NFL teams that would be interested in hiring someone that's gone through all of this stuff recently in the
a lot of
past 2
baggage.
years.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and he's also an interesting character, too. He's not everybody's cup of tea. So it's going to be interesting. And this is just a dumpster fire. That's the best way to describe it. Michigan right now and everything off the field is a dumpster fire, and it's just impressive that they still are surviving.
It nearly derailed today. I mean, it was almost off the tracks. So how about some coaching carousel conversation here? Obviously, the Jimbo Fisher-Texas A&M relationship ended earlier this week, and Jimbo Fisher got a $76 million parachute to go along with the firing. Somewhere Bobby Bonilla is laughing. But what do you guys make of the firing and maybe the timing of it mid-season? I mean, it was. Were you okay with the timing of this, or did it strike you a little bit odd?
We knew that he was on the hot seat, and I feel like it was just inevitable that it was going to happen. And I feel like Texas A&M said, why wait another 2 or 3 weeks? Let's just do it now and start this process and get it going.
And it came up after a 40-point-plus win, so we know how they feel.
Right.
It seemed like their decision was already made and that they had already kind of decided to move on with their coaching search, what they certainly will do. We will move along with the show, and we've got some of the best plays that we have seen this week coming up. Yeah, you hear the moos, you hear the banjos. You know what time it is. Time now for Holy Cow. We got 5 fresh plays for you from Week 12. Some of the best that we have seen all week long. Let's get to the plays, shall we? It starts with Louisville and Miami. We got a reverse to the running back, Rashad Smith. He's not the star of the show. Look at the blocking out in front. 6'6", 315 offensive lineman.
That's a tank.
How about that for Francis?
That's not a tank. That's a man. That's a grown man.
And he's handing out pancakes.
He is. Handing them out left and right. I'm going to give this a 90. Yeah. Hold the syrup.
Good
Hold
man.
the syrup.
Yeah, hold the syrup, hold the butter. It's all good.
So,
all right, what we got?
What do we got?
Up next?
Yep.
Abilene Christian, Texas A&M. Oh, where's the cameraman?
Cameraman fooled.
Can't find him.
Pick 6.
Where is he?
Listen, we don't show a lot of pancakes over here on Holy Cow, but we do show some pick 6. And they got on the board first. How much of an underdog were they, Sam?
Yeah, 41 points.
41 points, and you get on the board first. You know what? I'm going to have to give y'all some cred for that.
Yeah.
98.
Ooh, high score from Skubie.
Holy cow.
Usually a tough grader, but not this week. All right, Manny, we got Malik Washington here, stiff arming the defender for UVA.
Mr. Washington with the stiff arm there and the touchdown. And he is the, I think, the all-time leader over there.
Yep, he broke the record. Yep.
So fantastic performance, career performance for him, too, and this young man. Great catch, the stiff arm there. After that, awesome play. And I got to give this guy a hundo.
Whoa. Is that your first 100 you've dished out this?
Is it? I don't know. I feel like I've been pretty generous. I'm much nicer than you two in this thing.
True.
So.
Yeah.
All right, we got a 100-yard pick 6 here. We didn't see a ton of great offense today. We have seen some defenses make some crucial plays.
This was huge in the game, like we talked about earlier, man.
Yeah.
Altitude almost got him there.
I know.
For real.
Billy Bowman Jr. taking it 1 hundo. I'm going.
If he takes it a hundo, you got to give it a hundo.
I don't know. I'm going to take 10 off.
Wow.
I'm going to take 10 off. Well, first off, I give Billy a ton of credit.
It was a big play.
It was a huge play. It was a huge play.
Try harder.
I'm getting to the 50-yard line and just like laying down. So, all right, maybe we'll bump to 100.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's check out another sick play. Caleb Downs for Chattanooga. They don't know what to do to stop this dude because this is playing Madden on rookie mode. Just not fair at all. 85-yard return on the punt.
And he's just a freshman. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And he says, peace. Look at that.
Yeah, Doodles.
Well
I'm out of
done.
here.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give this one a good grade, too. Not as much as my last one, but I'm going to go ahead and give it the 95.
95?
95 is a good score.
You see that ball security, too? He's like, I don't care what Coach Saban says. I'm holding this like
You get a better
Dion.
sprinting form, you know what I mean?
He was running fast.
He's going to be playing on Sundays very soon. We got a couple of plays that will maybe be about some guys not playing on Sunday. Certainly plays that will not help you play on Sunday. And we call these plays bruh, because that is exactly what you say when you see plays like this. Check this out. Why do we always got to put the Maction up there, too? It's always the Maction teams that are giving out the bruh.
Unfortunately.
Buffalo and Miami of Ohio. We got a lost fumble here. at the goal line. How many times have we seen this in the last, like, 2 weeks?
Is he really just going to drop it before?
Oh,
no.
Oh, bruh. I mean, finish the play.
Come on, my boy. Do you want to get in the end zone or not?
I don't know. A little premature there with the reach. Been there, done that. Don't do it, my friend.
You've been there? You've done that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
7-on-7 or something. A little flag football.
Maybe not even that. Yeah.
All right, we got Colorado backup quarterback in here. This game was ugly last night, and he throws an interception.
After he completed a pass to himself.
That's right. After he just rocketed it off.
Check out this angle, y'all. Ready?
First of all, stop wearing 23. Get a normal quarterback number, all right? Unless you're a baller.
That's what he messed up at first.
That was the first bra. The second bra is that's a legal forward pass. You're breaking the rules, man. You can't throw it forward twice.
He came in this game not expecting to play.
All right, and this was Ty Simpson earlier today. We mentioned Alabama just took it to Chattanooga. But Simpson with the run.
Oh my God, I'm gonna score.
He's gonna go all the way. And well, hold on. He dropped the ball. I mean,
oh my God. You think Nick Saban's gonna have a lot of fun with that?
He had some words. Look at his face. Words right now.
He's like, I don't know what to do with you.
Bruh, what are you doing?
It's just
Come on,
some
man.
plays.
Nick Saban saying bra to you?
That would be funny.
You're right.
Yeah.
Bruh.
There's some plays that make you shake your head.
You're not playing.
All right,
Don't
so
drop the ball.
There is a huge game going down out west, and the biggest one of the week with playoff implications, Washington and Oregon State. Let's get to it.
Snap to Penix. He's going to throw it toward the end zone for Adunze. He holds on. Rome Adunze, a taker.
It gives us a lot of confidence with Rome and Michael working together in sync all the time.
We know that we're going to get a boost from them, and we kind of feed off that.
Win on me, win on three. 1, 2, 3.
When you got those type of guys on your team, you just know something good is going to happen.
And with the great receivers they have, a great quarterback, he can make no mistakes.
Lead play to Damian, good cutback. He's on his way. Touchdown, Beavers. Damian Martinez again.
What Oregon State brings is a hard-nosed running attack, and that's where it starts.
With Damian and the O-line, and then obviously the quarterback being just efficient and effective, we're pretty potent on offense.
Stopping the Oregon State offense is coming down to just running to the ball.
We need to be sharp in all ways.
What we have to do to win this game is to play our ball.
This might not be a playoff game per se, but it will be a playoff atmosphere out there. Oregon State has won 9 straight inside Reser Stadium, guys, but is it more impressive than Washington winning 17 straight games going into this one? So a lot on the line for this game. Obviously, playoff implications abound, but lots of question marks surrounding this Washington team, specifically on their defense, right? I mean, we saw them trailing at the half to Utah last week, 28-24, and then they went on to pitch a shutout in the second half and go on to win the game by a touchdown. Now they turn their focus to an Oregon State team that is very run-heavy, with DJU having a really kind of comeback year this year. Let me ask this question. If Washington has another bad game and still win, meaning the defense doesn't really play up to their standards, what are we to make of Washington going forward?
You know, the thing about Washington is they have, out of all the contenders, they have the lowest defensive efficiency rankings at 42nd in the country. And the team after them is Georgia, but we know that Georgia is just getting better and better. So this game is going to be one of the first ones we get to see. I don't know if it's a first, but definitely a key one. We get to see Washington tested in terms of their toughness. You just brought it up, Sam. Oregon State is a run-heavy team with a veteran offensive lineman and an underrated running back. This guy, Damian Martinez, is 13th in the country in running the ball. He is a tough back. And Washington's defense is 50th in the country in rush defense. So you're going to be tested on the ground in this game. And I think if you're Oregon State, you're almost looking at this like the way that Michigan did last week. We're going to run the ball as much as we possibly can and then give it to DJU here and there. Hopefully he throws it more than McAfee.
Right.
Catching strays.
Exactly.
He has. But you're right. And that's exactly kind of where I was going to lean to as well. Is that Damian Martinez, to me, I mean, why not send him to New York for the Heisman? Because this dude has been absolutely balling. He is the heart and soul of this football team. The offensive line does do a great job. They're one of the few teams, too, that has double tight end sets consistently on the field, too. So Washington, they've been going against a lot of spread offense, a lot of teams that throw it around the yard all the time. A lot of different things go on prepping for a team like this, making sure you have the proper gap contained, making sure that you're making the proper contact with lead blockers, inside, outside shoulders, how to make sure that you're playing off of those things efficiently, right? Safety play, making sure that you're filling those C and D gaps on the outside properly. So I think this is a really tough matchup for Washington. Damian Martinez, to me, is the reincarnation of Steven Jackson.
Ooh,
the dude is like 6'1",
like
220 pounds. He can change direction on a dime, and he's also a physical bruiser between the tackles, too. And you saw the weather report. It ain't sunny.
No.
It ain't shiny. You know, it's going to be a gritty football game, and that plays into the run
Take the under. Take the under.
We've had so many great primetime QB battles so far this year. This one seems like it could be a really special one. We have Michael Penix Jr., obviously, who still has those Heisman hopes out there and available to him. And DJU has kind of resuscitated his career under head coach Jonathan Smith in Oregon State. Who do you give the edge to tonight, Matty? We'll start with you.
I give the edge to Oregon State. I really do. One, because they're at home, right? But also, two, because of the style in which they play. And you're right. I think DJ has really just kind of like refound himself again. Like he really has done a great job of playing the position extremely well. It's a balanced offense. I don't know what it is about this coaching staff, but they can really coach up the offensive side of the football, and it's very NFL-like. The play-action passes, getting under center, the style of run plays that they do. It's just unbelievable the balance that they have, and his growth at the position has been tremendous. And if you want to say which quarterback performed better so far, DJ or Cade, you know, kind of have to go with DJ.
Oregon State be living that thug life because we know they're in the two-pack. There's only two of them left in that thing, man, and they're trying to represent and get into that Pac-12 championship. Can you think of being the commissioner of the Pac-12 and you're handing that over to Washington or Oregon, one of the teams that's leaving? You would love for it to be Oregon State to ruin somebody else's season. But in terms of your question, I got to give the edge over to Washington. And I say this only because this is the big stage for Michael Penix Jr. to give us that big Penix energy, right? Because he wants to be in that Heisman conversation. And you got McMillan returning. We haven't seen him that often this season, at least the last month. Him having to deal with some injuries. So I like the edge over to that team with their offense, with their defense, pitching a shutout in the second half last week. So this is your opportunity here to prove something, because I'm looking at the YouTube group chat right now, and I see what y'all talking about. Florida State is trailing right now, and we know that Florida State is the team that's ahead of them. And unfortunately, Jordan Travis had an injury that does not look good, which we will talk about later. And this is Washington's chance now. This is your chance to make that jump, because the team ahead of you is now facing some adversity that is going to be hard to overcome.
I'll say this, too, just quickly. This game is a great example of the positive attributes of the transfer portal, because you have two quarterbacks who didn't really have great situations where they were, and they had the opportunity to go transfer and kind of reestablish themselves as some of the best quarterbacks in the country. So one of the good reasons why the transfer portal actually does help a lot of teams and players in individual circumstances.
Great
point. Let's go ahead and pick this game, and we'll pick one other game. This is really a two-man race.
You see your boy
right now between Matt and Skubie.
Stuck in the middle.
Matt's stuck in the middle. Skubie made the joke that he's just going to pick whatever Matt picks the rest of the way.
The fact that we pulled away from you so much, though,
no, it's not
good.
good. I'm well aware of it.
You can do the opposite of what I said about Matt. You're like, you're still kind of in it, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
no, not really. Not really. I'll start. I'm gonna pick Washington.
I love that attitude, though.
I'm being realistic. This is not pessimistic, but I'm picking Washington in this one for all the reasons Skubie said, because this is a big game, and we have seen Washington be pushed up to the edge, and they have always come and answer and won the game. So until proven otherwise, I'm picking Washington. Scoob, what do you got?
I'm going to retreat right there with you, buddy. Going with Washington in this game. I know they are the underdog, which is kind of a surprise. But somebody in Vegas knows something, and usually I like to go with the somebody, but this time I'm sticking with Me, buddy.
And I don't pay attention to Vegas, but maybe I work for Vegas because I'm going with Oregon State in this one. Because unlike these guys, I have courage, all right? I'm going with Oregon State. They're winning at home. DJU, Damian Martinez, they're going to do their thing. They're going to win at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. I give Oregon State the edge.
All right, so Maddie might look smart in this one. Who do we got for Texas and Iowa State? This is another kind of interesting game.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be probably pretty cold up there in Ames. Who knows? I'm going to pick the Cyclones here because this is a trap game for Texas, who again have to finish the season next week in a difficult game. This is kind of an interesting one. I'm going to go Iowa State.
Just stop with your explanations.
There really isn't much of a. I'm picking Iowa State.
You got to do it.
I don't really.
You gotta do it.
I feel like I got to give some reasoning.
I love that you try to make your reasoning sound serious.
It's cold, and it's not going to be fun for Texas to go up there and play. That's the reasoning.
Ames is not a bad place. Shout out to the people out in Ames. I've been out there for the games in Jack Trice Stadium. Beautiful place. 60,000 people can fit up in that thing. So your home field advantage does play a role here. But I'm still going, well, hook 'em, baby. I think they're going to be able to get that dub. Unfortunate for them to lose Jonathan Brooks, but I think that they still have a good core within that offense to make the plays.
Yeah, now C.J. Baxter, who's a freshman there, has to kind of take over that position, right?
He was the starter at the start of the year.
He was, and he's a fantastic football player, right? You know, Jonathan Brooks just kind of was the hot hand later in the year. But C.J. has to kind of take over the helm with that running game. Quinn Ewers continuing to get healthier and more experienced now that he's back on the football field. So I'm taking Texas. If you're back, all right, show me again.
All right, let's go into the film room with the NFL QB, Matt Sims, and we're going to check out a couple of the top prospects in the upcoming NFL draft. We got 4 quarterbacks that we're going to be looking at. Maddie, who are we starting with?
Yes, sir. And the man, Caleb Williams himself. Everyone thinks right now, undoubtedly, the number 1 or number 2 pick, depending on who you talk to. And there's a reason why, because this dude, all he does is just make magic happen all the time on Saturdays. And it is impressive. So here, we're going to draw up what he does in this play. Offensive guys, it doesn't matter what you do. Just fly. Get open. You know what he's going to do? He's going to run this way, this way, this way, this way. He's going to go all over the place, and then he's going to throw a touchdown down the field. And you'll see exactly what I mean here in a second. Look at this dude move in the pocket. How relaxed he is. Now, what I love there, he turns and he looks all the way back towards the opposite end zone, does a great job of staying composed, keeps his movement and his eyes alive as he moves in the pocket, and then throws an absolute strike right there on the run. I mean, this dude is just a freak athlete, and his football IQ to go along with his hand-eye IQ is just phenomenal right here. After doing all of that stuff in the pocket to deliver a pass as accurately as he does down the field, I mean, this is why this guy is just a freak.
There's not many quarterbacks that can do what he does at the collegiate level and have the confidence to do that.
Right.
I mean, a lot of quarterbacks are throwing balls away. They're getting out of that play and waiting for the next one. Not Caleb Williams. We talked about Caleb a lot this year. We really haven't talked a ton about Drake May, other than the fact that we know he's on a ton of NFL draft boards. Why?
He's on a ton of NFL draft boards simply because this dude has been playing at a super high level for a really, really long period of time. And unlike Caleb Williams, he's actually kind of played within the confines of the system or their offensive system more consistently. Caleb has been more just like, you know, spur of the moment, making fantastic plays. You're going to see this guy play a little bit more in rhythm more consistently. He throws the ball down the field with fantastic ease. And you're going to see this play right here. We're going to get a simple double post concept here by these 2 receivers, right? So with this double post concept, we're just going to get like a little inside post going this way, and then this guy is going to run that spray post over the top. Simple read for the quarterback, right? You're thinking that first big post down and across. But what you'll see, though, here, too, is just how easy he makes this throw and why he is different than most. Nice little 3 hitch and throw and gather, and then the ability to drive the football with power and at the same time with grace and perfect, you know, harmony with his receiver is why this guy is special.
We talk a lot about fit in the NFL, right? And we talk about systems. Is there a system that you think he fits well in?
You know, this is a guy that I feel like in an NFL system, like one that's a little bit more balanced, does more stuff under center and play action stuff, he's actually going to be even more impressive than what we've seen in North Carolina. Because in North Carolina, it's all him. he really has to make every play for this offense. They're not technically as balanced as they were with Phil Longo a year ago.
Right.
More guys, with him under center, play action passes, doing some of the things that we've seen C.J. Stroud do so well this year. This is why I think a lot of teams are going to be very excited when they go through the evaluation process through it.
Right, and Drake May, again, hasn't been the best year for North Carolina. They've actually looked a lot more like North Carolina of last year.
Where would they be without a quarterback like that? Yeah. That's the question that you'll have to ask yourselves as far as evaluators. Are they a 6-6 football team? Because with Drake May, they're an 8, 9, 10 win football team.
All right, so the Pac-12 has kind of been the conference of the quarterback this year. Four of the top quarterbacks in the country in passing yards come from the Pac-12. Michael Penix Jr., his Heisman hopes still very well alive. What makes him such a hot commodity in the upcoming draft?
Well, first of all, this is a guy that's played a ton of college football at a very high level. He is a talented thrower, probably one of the more talented arms in the draft, and that's high praise considering how well we just spoke about Drake May and Caleb Williams. This dude really moves well in the pocket. He doesn't create as much with his legs as some of the other guys does, but his ability to dissect information quickly and his quick release to throw from different angles, which we've seen all season, is really what separates him right now. And the other thing, too, where does he play? See that big W right there? He plays in the Pacific Northwest, man. So it's cold, it's windy, it's rainy, and you know what? This guy still makes the plays that needs to happen. So that's why I feel like prospects will really like him, especially those Northeast teams that need quarterbacks. That play in that tough weather. He's been through that and has experienced that and has performed at extremely high level. And you see right there the quick release, to drive off that back foot and hip. See how he's getting all the way through the football like that? And to drive the football as easily as he did, just about 55 yards right there in the air. It just shows you how athletic he is.
He's been really, really impressive for Washington. And again, we may have another huge QB battle between Michael Penix Jr. and between Bo Nix, who is now the Heisman favorite heading into this weekend. He showed out today, but what have you seen from him this year?
Oh, man. This is a guy that, it's undoubtedly, he has more experience than anybody in all of college football. Before the season started, he had taken over 3,000 college snaps. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Wild. I was in college for 10 years. I didn't take that many snaps. So I'm like a version of Van Wilder in college football. But still, what you see from him is multiple offensive coordinators that he's dealt with, right? Multiple head coaches. He's improved each and every year as a football player, as a leader. This year just shows you, second offensive coordinator at Oregon, and he is performing at an even higher level, right? And he's really doing a great job of being a great decision maker and playing in rhythm. Good little play fake at the line of scrimmage. You see that quick one hitch, and then this beautiful throw down the sideline to Franklin, who's been one of his go-to guys all season. But the rhythm right there that you see him playing with, the quick decision making continuously on the film, is why Bo Nix will be one of those guys that I feel like may not get a lot of first-hand attention because the other dudes have been, in our brains for so long. But a lot of NFL teams are going to value that guy very much.
Just a quick one for you. The science of picking an NFL quarterback is an often flawed one, and we've seen that play out over the course of decades now. But which one of those four quarterbacks, I know systems depend on it, but which one actually is the most NFL ready to step in day one and be a rookie starter?
It might be crazy to say, but I probably would go with maybe Bo Nix. I really would.
Tell him now.
I feel like it might be something that's bold that not a lot of people would say, but just the fact that he's been through a ton of adversity at Auburn, came out the other side cleaner than Andy Dufresne, right? He's been with so many different head coaches, offensive coordinators, and the fact that he has grown as an individual and as a player each and every year just says to me that, this guy has that will and that leadership that you need at the position.
No doubt. You learn something new every day when we step into the film room with Matt Sims. All right, time now for AT&T Countdown to the CFP National Championship.
Woo!
We will talk about Oregon in just a second, but we have to talk about Florida State and what has transpired thus far in the game. North Alabama currently leads 13-3. That doesn't tell the whole story. Jordan Travis went out with an apparent lower leg injury. It did not look good. He was carted off the field, and Tate Rodemaker will take over for the rest of the game. Guys, we saw the injury on video. It didn't look great. No. We're not going to speculate on anything, but let's say, and we hope that he recovers quickly, but let's say they do not have him for the duration of this game, and then they don't have him the rest of the way. How does this affect a Florida State team that was already kind of doubted in the minds of many?
Tate Rodemaker is the guy that's going to step in for Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis has taken like over 600 or something snaps during his time at FSU. Tate has taken 35 snaps total. His career stats are 43 for 70, 550 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So the guy doesn't have much experience. You just got done talking about Bo Nix and how many snaps he's taken, how many games he started. This is the complete other side of the coin.
Yeah.
So it's concerning, man, and I hate to see it. I mean, once I saw the injury for Jordan Travis, I had to try and, like, snap out of it because I couldn't even get my mind right to even do the show anymore because your heart breaks for Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
Your heart breaks anytime you see a guy go down when you know that he is so close to doing something amazing. He was a Heisman candidate, and he had a chance to do something special this year, and you hope his team can keep it up, but it's scary hours right now in terms of their hopes, if you would say.
You guys both played the game, and this is the sad reality of it, that this is always a possibility that it can happen, right? I mean, this is a risk that you take when you play football, but every time you see it, it reminds you that there are humans playing this game.
Yeah, there are human beings that are playing this football game. I mean, I see things like this, and, you know, it even reminds me, too, of just even my brother losing his spleen on the field and almost dying on the football field, having 2 blood transfusions just to survive, you know, his life, not only just his football life, right, which was so important to our family and still is, of course. But, you know, the human element of it is that, you know, Jordan Travis has family, you know, has people that love and care for him. And right now, football is not the most important thing. Football is secondary. Hopefully he can get healthy as fast as humanly possible. So maybe one day he can continue his dream of playing the game that he loves. But, you know, Jordan Travis is much like how we discuss Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
He's out, and my hopes of them winning the national championship now, to me, unfortunately, are kind of out the door. Right. And that's how impactful of a young man he has been for this football team.
Good point.
A leader. You know, I mean, this is a guy that's been playing hurt the entire football year. He's come out of all those games at a halftime, and he's made great plays. So you're losing the heart and soul of your football team like that. And the biggest thing, too, that we really need to discuss is the play that he got hurt on was an illegal hit. He was grabbed up top by the shoulders,
tackle.
And then the defender dropped his weight on Jordan Travis's leg like that. Jordan's leg is obviously trapped underneath the defender, and that's something that, you know, is not part of the game or should be part of the game that we should celebrate.
I've been hurt on a hip drop tackle, too, when I played. Bad ankle injury. I mean, still to this day, it bothers me. And it's been a topic of discussion over and over again if it's a dirty hit, illegal hit. And I think each week we see the tackle and realize, like, man, I know it's hard to take out of the game, but we should find a way or have a conversation as to how can we make it safer where this tackle doesn't end guys' seasons or possibly careers.
Yeah, and it's not like it was one of those plays where, like, he was right next to the goal line, so the defender dropped his weight to make sure that he didn't get into the end zone. I mean, this was, like, towards midfield.
Yeah.
And if you just push him down or tackle him forward with his momentum and he goes forward for 1 more yard, it's okay. Like, I know we're making it difficult on defenders with all of these rules, but at the same time, you know, the product is playing the best players all the time as much as you possibly can. And when Jordan Travis goes out, which to me I think is an improper or illegal hit, you know, I think it just takes away from what the game is really about.
Yeah. We're sending good vibes to Jordan Travis and the whole Travis family. A great family. Devin Travis has worked for us. I've called baseball games with him on the ESPN networks as well, so we are sending our thoughts and prayers to the Travis family. Meanwhile, Oregon and Arizona State, and you want to talk about the Bo Nix show.
Whoa.
This was it.
Real talk, man.
Bodacious.
Yeah. Nice, Matty. Nice.
Yeah, you like that?
Picking up in the first quarter. Oregon already leading 7-0. They're going to add on to it. Finding Patrick Herbert here for 49-yard touchdown, and Oregon would lead 14-0. Guys, we can watch the rest of the highlight here, and we can. But Bo Nix had 6 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah, let's just point out the elephant in the room. Ridiculous pass.
That was great.
Washington didn't score a touchdown offensively against Arizona State. And Bo Nix scored 6 of them things in the first half, y'all.
Yeah. And this is what I want you to notice, though, about this highlight. You see that screen pass early. Okay, hey, man, I feel pretty good. I threw a screen for a touchdown. Then you saw the laser to Franklin on that post. Then you see the big post to Franklin. And now to that little screen to Bryant Jr. where he's going through his read. So Oregon, Will Stein, Lanning, they do a great job of building their quarterback's momentum and just – his ability to play fast by giving him easy throws early to then making these decisive, unbelievable throws later in the game.
All right. So considering that the college football playoff is on the horizon and we're starting to have, a clearer picture at least of what it might look like, it still is very muddied. I mean, you could have a bunch of different top 4, top 5, top 6, and it would look okay. So that's what we're going to do right now here on the College Football Show. We will do our best to come to a consensus on what we think the top 4 could look like come December 3rd after the conference championships are played. So I have the handy-dandy iPad, and I'm sure they are going to try and take it away from me once we start to decide some of these teams.
Why we gave you the iPad, I have no idea with your record.
Yeah, it's a fair point. That's a fair point. I have not looked great picking games this year. But let's go ahead and get to it, guys. I think we put Georgia at 1.
All right, good with that.
Okay, and then again, this is projected out. So projected after the conference championship game.
No, we support you in this. Don't worry.
I'm going to go Michigan here.
That would be nice.
That would
Georgia,
be
Michigan.
a really fun 1-4 matchup.
Just for fun.
We just saw that
just for
years
fun.
ago, right?
Yeah.
Let's go here. And let's go here.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So this is, you're hypothetically saying Alabama beats Georgia, and Georgia is left, or Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC game. You get 2 SEC teams in.
No doubt. They still would not be the 1 seed, though, in that scenario if they lost.
Okay.
Right? So you probably would have Michigan in the 1, and then Georgia flipped in the 4 position, right, being a 1 loss. And then Alabama would be a 2 or a 3, right, considering the fact that they won the SEC.
Okay. So you would go Michigan at 1.
Yeah, Michigan would stay at 1. If they're the Big Ten champion, right, undefeated season, they're 1. Georgia would probably be the 4 if they lost, right, in that SEC championship.
Okay.
I don't even think, if this scenario happens, wouldn't you? I'm thinking Ohio State is going to win it. Ohio State is going to beat Michigan.
You're feeling that way about it.
After what I saw from Michigan today, I just don't feel good about them.
I hear you.
I don't. And Maryland, quite frankly, had they been more competent on offense, they probably could have pulled out the win today.
Right.
So how about Ohio State getting in there? Because,
give me it. Ohio
State becoming the team to go in there. And then I like that top 4 a lot more. Yep.
Let's put them at the 2-3.
Okay.
All right.
And then who you going number 1 then?
The number 1 team, let's go with Washington.
Wow.
Wow. Go Washington.
All right. All right.
Let's get a little crazy, huh? We need something crazy. Because Washington, they still are a great team. I mean, I know we want them to play a certain way, but they're still a great team. And then Alabama and Georgia.
But we haven't talked about them yet. So let's say this is a possibility here at a 1-4. If Florida State stays
I don't think that's happening, my boy.
Happening anymore.
With all due respect, I don't think that's happening.
And honestly, I feel like Louisville now has a real opportunity to beat Florida State.
Yes.
And Louisville will be one of those teams where they would be, are they actually top 4 worthy, which we do not think they are, right? They would need a lot of favors to get into that position. But, it's just... Can't really think about Florida State in that situation.
Someone says I must be on drugs in the group chat for telling them that that Washington's number 1. Hey, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, big fella.
And don't be jealous that we're having more fun than you.
No, but in all seriousness, there's a lot that can happen. And
tons. That's the point, though, right? I mean,
this
is an open field, and I don't think that we have seen, at least in the college football playoff era, this close of running down the stretch, and we only have a week left in the regular season.
And Washington at 1 wouldn't be that far-fetched, right? Because if they run the table, if they beat a good Oregon State team here today, right, and then beat Oregon again in the championship, that would be 2 top 10 teams. Now, hey, it would be the same top 10 team twice, but it would still be 2 top 10 wins in the beginning and the end of the year, and to be a conference champion. So that wouldn't be like extremely far-fetched if all of the other dominoes play out.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on out there in Corvallis right now. Again, top 10 matchup in the AP poll, and we have got a touchdown. Looks like Washington strikes early. Michael Penix Jr.
Dude, it's just crazy.
Gosh. Rain, sleet, snow. Don't matter.
Rome Odunze with the 12-yard reception there. So Washington strikes first, and it is 7-0.
Michael Penix to the New England Patriots, baby.
I would love that.
Let's go.
I'm a Patriots fan, so let's just let's continue to make sure that we do our part and tank for one of these quarterbacks in this year's draft. Because
how many times have we seen that?
It has not been the return of the Mac.
That back shoulder throw right there to Rome Odunze, his ability to throw it just pinpoint accurately to him every time. Rome's ability to adjust his body right to those throws. I mean, those two are just, they're the dynamic duo, man. They've been so fun to watch this year.
We in one of our college football shows, we ranked the top 5 quarterback wide receiver tandems in the country. And quite frankly, I had Rome and Michael Penix Jr. as my number 1.
Yeah.
And this was right after their win against Oregon, where they threw that game-winning touchdown pass. And when I saw that chemistry and the timing of it, I was like, these dudes are locked in. It is unlike anything else in the country.
Yeah, we'll go live looking here, Maddie, but continue your thoughts.
Sorry about that. I was going to say, you didn't have Shador and Travis Hunter, did you?
No.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Would have been fun. I had Drake May and Tez Walker up there.
I like that a lot.
So part of what makes Oregon State so interesting, Maddie, you touched upon it, they like to go big.
Yeah.
Right? They go with 2 tight ends at times. What does that provide in the system for DJU? And you look at guys like Damian Martinez who have run the ball so well. How does this system work?
Yeah, so really what it's all about, right, is about just making the defense for Washington run essentially sideline to sideline, stopping the run game, right, and really being physical. So what you're doing is you're wearing out the front 7 of that defense consistently. Then that opens up all of your play action passes, all of your movement passes. You get your quarterback out of the pocket, and you get one-on-one situations like that on the outside, right? So that's essentially what this offense is all about.
It looks like the weather affected DJU on that one. That one just hit the ground.
What's it like, Maddie, playing in this type of weather?
It's extremely difficult. The one thing is a good job of the defender getting his hand up and tipping the football.
All right.
But it's difficult. The one thing that you kind of have to keep in mind as a thrower is you can't necessarily kind of like flick the ball quickly in these type of situations because of the rain. You have to really actually like over-exaggerate your follow through and almost, quote unquote, push the football so you're not losing any control over it. And, don't worry about spirals. It's all about just accuracy and putting it on the body.
And another missed pass there by DJU, but we have a flag looking like maybe offsides here. But yeah, Matt, to your point of playing with the rain, another thing that comes to mind is the temperature, right? Because if it's cooler and the temperature is colder, now you're not only wet, but you're wet and cold. And that's a terrible combination when you're trying to catch and throw the ball.
Yeah, it's all good right now in the first quarter of the game, but yeah, in the fourth quarter, that's where it's kind of like the added advantage of having a guy like Damian Martinez running the football. Do you really want to, be aggressive and go in there and make that physical tackle versus a 220-pound running back?
It is coming down there. I mean, we just saw a little bit of just the velocity that the rain is falling.
45 degrees over there. I just look at the current weather.
It's a downpour. Yeah, that is.
But hey, this whole scheme of them playing offensively, it only matches if the defense can slow down Washington a little bit. And right there on that first drive there, didn't look like it was all rainbows and sunshine there for the defense.
Real quick, one of the things about Michael Penix Jr. that they talked about is how big his hands are. With the rain like this, how much of an advantage is that?
Dude, it's amazing. I mean, it's just like, why is Aaron Rodgers so good in Green Bay for such a long time? I've shaken hands with Aaron Rodgers. He had no idea who the hell I was. But I said, hey, how are you, Aaron? Nice to meet you.
What he
had
said?
just beat them in the NFC Championship game, so he didn't want to talk to us, right? Or at least me, because I was just in street clothes. But, shook his hand. And I have a big hand.
You did.
And, and when I shook in, I was like, whoa, it was like not cool. Like I was that uncomfortable. So, to have that advantage of having a grip like that on the football is tremendous. And it's something that, hey, you can joke about it all you want, but this is why they do measure people's hands at the combine, because to have control over the football is important.
Georgia has had control over the entire SEC seemingly for the last 3 years, but it was impressive to see what they were able to do today, guys. And again, this is an SEC championship game that is set. It is going to be Alabama and Georgia. This is the fourth time that they have met in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
So want to preview that a little bit, give a couple thoughts on what you guys might think?
Would love to.
So Georgia, the game that they struggled in the most this year is against Auburn, right? And what does Auburn have? A mobile quarterback. Jalen Milroe, especially Jalen Milroe with the sleeve. As soon as he put the sleeve on, he was a different player.
Different player.
But Jalen Milroe,
engage.
Literally,
like an action figure.
He used his, he went Super Saiyan 2. But Jalen Milroe is a mobile quarterback. And no idea. And I think that is going to play to their advantage. It should be an interesting matchup.
It definitely will. And what's great, too, is that where we started this season with Carson Beck and with Jalen Milroe, we were like, hopefully they can play okay. But now look at these guys. Now these guys are like, hey, get ready. They're going to be in Newark next year for their Heisman. I mean, Jalen only being a sophomore, his growth at the position is crazy. It's crazy. He is now like in control of his offense and making these great plays.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a really fun matchup, and we'll see which defensive coordinator can get a big stop.
We are out of time. Thanks so much for spending part of your Saturday with us. For Matt Sims, Skubie Mageza, I'm Sam Ravech. Thanks so much for tuning in to the College Football Show presented by AT&T. We will see you next week in the final week of the regular season.